Hey there, food family. It's your Oklahoma food dude. You know, I was very blessed to have a family growing up that was very close knit. One of those members was my grandmother. And you know, it was always a blast to go to her house, and she just lived 3 blocks away, so we were there all the time. But one of the things that I remember most about my grandmother was she always had this cake container that she kept her homemade oatmeal raisin cookies in. And everyone that came to the house knew where that was at and always wanted one of those cookies. They were a very special cookie. As I grew up, I sort of forgot about them. I had the original recipe that she had handwritten, but there was something that I just could not reproduce about them. Well, finally, I said, I'm going to fix this. And I have done it. And I am here tonight to share this with you. These are amazing Granny's oatmeal raisin cookies. And yes, they're about 6 or 7 inches in diameter. And after a lot of work, I've discovered the process that it takes to make these great cookies. They're chewy, they're flat, they've got a great distinctive flavor. Watch, we're going to show you how to make Granny's oatmeal raisin cookies. Hey food family, let's get started making Granny's old-fashioned oatmeal raisin cookies. Now I got to tell you, like I said in the introduction, I have worked on this for decades trying to get this quite right. And finally, I ended up doing a lot of research on what goes into a cookie, how to make a cookie spread, how to make it rise, and I think I've come up with the winning recipe. But there's some basic things that I think is important for you to understand, and you cannot substitute in this recipe. And let me tell you, this recipe goes back to the 40s. Everyone that knew my grandmother knew her oatmeal raisin cookies. We're aiming for a cookie that's 6 to 8 inches round, that is soft, chewy, and moist. So let me point out some of the things that I learned in the process. One of the things that I learned in the process is oats. What is the difference between old-fashioned oats and new modern quick oats? As you can see in the old-fashioned oat, the oats are rolled flat, but they're whole. Whereas in the new quick cook oats, you see they're sort of torn up. They're much mealier. And so what I've decided to do is use a 2-to-1 ratio of old-fashioned and quick for the old-fashioned chew and that piece. The other thing is this device. If you don't know what this is, you probably shouldn't be cooking or baking cookies. This is a sift. It's really important that you sift your flour, your sugar. Make sure there is no lumps in it. So bring out the sifter and use it. The other thing that we're going to do when we start here in a minute, we've got brown sugar, we've got sifted flour, we've got our mixture 3-to-1, 2 old-fashioned, 1 quick oats, sugar, 1 cup of white sugar and 1 cup of brown sugar. I eliminated the butter out of it and elected to go 100% Crisco. So we've got 3/4 of a cup of Crisco. We've got 1 beaten egg and a cup of fresh raisins. Now, if you don't have fresh raisins, you can take your raisins if they're not soft and really pliable. You can take and put them in warm water for about 10 minutes and then drain them. And then you get that really soft cookie. But this is a brand new open package of raisins. And the other thing that I discovered is water. We want to use water instead of cream or milk or something like that because the water helps the cookie spread out and keeps it fresh and soft for many, many days. So let's get started on this recipe and we'll take you through step by step for Granny's old-fashioned oatmeal raisin cookies. This is the step that really builds the tenderness in the cookie. So we're going to take our time, 4 minutes. So we've creamed the fats and the sugar, and now we're going to start adding in our wet ingredients. Turn that up. We're going to add 1 large egg that has been beaten and it's a large egg. Get a good quality egg from this. We're going to add the water. And the liquid vanilla. I don't measure this out. I always add it in, and I'm probably a little heavy on vanilla, but I love vanilla. Let's take that up and mix it till it's fully incorporated. About a minute. Take that, scrape the edges. It's a soft, creamy mixture. And then in a separate bowl, we're going to mix in our flour, dry ingredients, which are our salt, our baking soda, and our cinnamon. We're going to fold those together. You tell when it's incorporated fairly well because you won't have any streakiness and the flour has turned a tan color. To that, we're going to add our quick oats and old-fashioned oat combination, 2 to 1. And then we're going to add the raisins to that, 1 full cup of fresh plump. And I also think it's important to say that you need to go through and make sure there's no stems left on the raisins. We're just going to mix that together until it's pretty incorporated. Once it's that way, then we're going to pull down our wet mixture. We're going to put this in and hand stir in the wet mixture to it. Get all that off the beater. And we're going to pick the rest of this up. Then we're going to incorporate this together. We missed a few soft plump raisins. We're going to mix this all together. You don't want to over mix this, but you want to be sure that all the dry ingredients are incorporated. There we go. Now we're going to be baking these in a 350-degree preheated oven. We've got my large baking trays. And again, we're aiming for a 6 to 8 inch cookie. So we don't want to use silicone mats. We don't want to use parchment paper because those have a tendency to cause the dough to resist spreading. So we're going to use ungreased, clean cookie dough baking sheets. I hope you enjoyed learning how to make my grandmother's oatmeal raisin cookies. And remember, join us next time when we bring you more of that Oklahoma soul.